Another Leetcode problem, 14, longest common prefix. So we are giving an array of strings and we just need to find the longest common prefix. So what does that mean? So for example, for the first word, normally we're gonna choose the first word as our starting point. So for example, our starting point is flower. We just need to check what's gonna be the longest common prefix. Maybe it is F. F it is okay. Maybe if it is FL. So FL, we're gonna check if FL is okay. FL is okay. And then we're gonna check FLO. So if FLO, so for this flower flow it is okay, but for the flight it is not okay. So finally we're gonna just return FL as the longest common prefix. So this is the basic idea. Or we can choose the first word as our starting point and we're gonna check it totally. So we're gonna check this flower. And for the flow, it is not okay. It is not starting with flower, and flight is not starting with flower. So we're gonna reduce it. We're gonna remove this R, and then we're gonna remove this E, remove W, and remove O until FL, and then FL meet all the conditions. So we're gonna return this FL. So this is the basic idea. Now let's just try to solve it. So we're gonna, as the final return gonna be a string, so we're gonna define a string as the prefix. So the prefix variable gonna equal to the starting point, which is gonna be string 0, or you can choose the string on the last one. But for me, I'm gonna choose the first one as flower, because the string gonna at least have a length of 1. So this means why we can choose the index 0. Now we're gonna use a for loop. So for integer I, it's gonna be starting from 0. We can start from 1 because this is the prefix, and then we're gonna check from the second word. So I gonna equal to 1. I gonna length the strings dot length, because this is array, so there's no parentheses. Yeah, because this is array. If it is a string, definitely it's gonna have a parenthesis for checking the length. And I plus plus. Now we're gonna use a while loop to check if it didn't meet the condition. So we need to reduce the length of the string if it didn't meet the condition. If it meets the condition, it is okay. We're gonna continue to check it until we get the final answer. But if it didn't meet the condition, we're gonna reduce it. So for example, if it all meets the condition, we're gonna return this prefix immediately. Otherwise, we're gonna reduce it, and we're gonna reduce it gradually. We find this FL, it's gonna meet the condition, and we're gonna return this FL. So how to check if we didn't meet the condition? So here we're gonna use a not. If not, we're gonna choose the first one, strings I dot. Here we're gonna use the start with. If the strings I, if a current word, for example this flow, not starts with the current prefix. Yeah, if it is not starts with the prefix, so what are we gonna do? We need to reduce it, right? So the prefix is gonna equal to prefix dot in Java we're gonna use the substring. So from 0 to the prefix dot length, because this is prefix is just a string, so we're gonna use the parenthesis because it is method. Yeah. So this is okay, because for each of the steps we're gonna reduce the prefix until maybe the prefix is FL, or maybe the prefix is empty string. So finally, we're gonna return this prefix. Yeah, this is a typo. We're gonna call it prefix. Yeah, it is a time limit exceeded. So this means for the while check. So this prefix is gonna be reduced for each of the time. So this is the while loop. Yeah, while this is string not start with the prefix, so we're gonna reduce it. But this prefix can be an empty string. So for this prefix, because we reduce it over time, So if this prefix is an empty string, so all the string will, yeah, but if this prefix, let me just print it. So this prefix can, yeah, so we're gonna use system dot system dot out dot println. Yeah, so let's just check why it is time limit exceeded. Yeah, for the second example, it may be time limit exceeded. Let's just check the second example. For the first example, it is time limit exceeded. So this is always flower. Yeah, let me check about it. This line is yeah, because we didn't reduce the flower even, because here is wrong, because for each of time I need to reduce the prefix, but I didn't reduce it because here is the prefix dot length. Actually it should be the prefix dot length minus 1. Now let me just run it. Yeah, now as you can see it works. Yeah, it passed all testing cases. Actually, this prefix can be reduced to an empty string. As we can see from here, for each of the steps, it's gonna reduce. For this example, it's gonna be reduced to an empty string. But why it works? Even this prefix reduced to an empty string, and here for this while loop, it will not execute, because for any string, it's gonna start with an empty string. If this is a string, for any string, it's gonna start with an empty string. So this will not work for this while loop. And then we're gonna just execute this for loop several times. So the time complexity is gonna be this for loop, it's gonna be O(n). Yeah. But actually the time complexity is gonna be the number of all the characters. It's gonna be 200 times 200, because the maximum length is 200 and the string's length is also 200. So this is gonna be the time complexity. So we're gonna say it is O(n) squared. Yeah. But we can even stop it earlier, because why not we check this for loop every time? But if this prefix is empty, we can stop it immediately. But how can we stop it? So if this prefix dot is empty, yeah, but we will not use, we can use a break, but this break just breaks the while loop, but for this for loop it's gonna execute every time. Yeah, let me just run it. Yeah, it can reduce the speed, but it's not so good. We need to use a return. If we find this prefix is empty, so we're gonna return an empty string immediately. Yeah, so we're gonna write it like this. This is better. Yeah. Now, instead of using the start with, we can also use index of in Java. So we just need to change a little bit. If the string is I.index of prefix, normally it should be 0, but if it is not 0, but if it is yeah, so for example, this FL for this flow, this flow dot index of FL is gonna be 0. Yeah, but if there's no FL, if this flow, if this prefix is flower, flow dot index of flower, if it didn't find it, so the return is not 0. If it is not 0, so this means we need to reduce the string. We need to reduce the string by 1. Maybe the flower, reduce the R, reduce the E until FL, and then we're gonna return this FL. Yeah. So here we're gonna change the start with to index of. Actually, it is just the same idea, and it didn't influence any time complexity. So the time complexity is just m times n. As you can see, it is the same. the times complexity is just 200 times 200. So the string I consists of only lowercase English letters if it is non-empty. Yeah, so the string I, if it is non-empty, it's gonna always be lowercase English letters, but it can also be an empty string inside. Yeah, I think that's all about it. Thanks for watching.